Well, welcome back. Hello, everybody. It's Becky from Power Tools with Thread. And today I am stitching block 8. We are on week 8 of the Brightly Sampler Sew Along. I'm suffering with a bit of a cold, so I'm not talking correctly. Great to see everybody here in the chat. So glad you guys have joined me. I am going to, Frida wants another biscuit now. Don't you? Yeah, she wants another biscuit. We don't normally do this, but we'll go ahead and let her come in here. Come here. Come on over here. Not a girl. Frida wants another biscuit. She's good. There you go. Okay. No, that's enough. You don't get any more than that. Sweet girl. Conned mama into another biscuit. Yeah. So it's great to see you guys. I was on this morning for the Stitchuation Room, and we do this every Monday for the Brightly Sampler Sew Along. And what I'm doing with mine is showing you guys how to put the blocks together. So I did not show how to exactly cut the blocks because I can't give away the pattern, obviously. But if you've got the book, then you can certainly follow along with me. I know a lot of you are already done and you're just waiting to do your sashings and whatnot. So that's cool. This is the Family Favorites book by Sherry and Chelsea. Okay. And I mention this each week. There is a blog post on my blog, Power Tools with Thread. And we have got a schedule on the blog that you can look at. And this week is Happy Dance 2/3/25. And there is also a picture. This is a layout by Shirley Scott from our Facebook group. Okay. And this is how I am doing mine. Also with mine, so the fabric line I am using is Strawberry Lemonade by Sherry and Chelsea. That's in that top row up there. And then these first two blocks right here. And then over here, this is a companion quilt I'm making of the same quilt in a different line. Okay, so that line is the Farmstead by Stacy East Shoes. So I'm actually making two quilts at once. So we are making the Happy Dance block, and that is this one right here. All righty. So I have all of my fabric already cut. I talked this morning about one of the most productive things you can do in your quilting journey for keeping things moving along is to make sure things are cut. So these are Easy Stacks trays, and I have glued a piece of batting to the back of each one of these. These are in my Amazon store. This particular bag is a fold over. It has a fold over flap with Velcro versus a zipper. This is a Yazzie bag. I have links to this below too with a coupon for 15% off. So on this Happy Dance, I'm just going to grab the next little bundle of squares and go ahead and lay them out on my design board so I can see exactly where everything needs to lay. But I'm just going to take this and put it back inside of this bag. I love the Easy Stacks too. I am working, I saw that in the comments, I am working with Yasmita Magan from Yazzie Bags to come up with a little bit larger bag specifically for holding trays of this type. Hopefully they're Easy Stacks, but holding trays that will hold our 8.5 by 11 inch pattern books, plus our box, plus Easy Stacks, and then also interior bags inside of that to be able to hold completed blocks. And then you'll have all your quilt in one location. So that's the way I'm managing keeping all of these straight and done. All right. Let me, I got a new Bee's Knees book holder from the Fat Quarter shop. This came in. I'll show you this. This is magnetic. And it's really good. It holds heavy books. So the ones that are spiral bound too, like you can see blocks behind me for Vintage Christmas. That's a pretty good size book. Okay, so I'm going to open this up and get to Happy Dance, and then we're going to get that started. Now, last time I sewed this block, I had to take it apart a couple of times because I couldn't line up my points. I have since changed how I'm putting my block together. That is different than what the book says. And that's kind of a quick little lesson that even if you don't do it the way the book says, so long as the block goes together, that works. Okay. So this is the block right here on this one. All right. I'm going to put this on my stand and get the stand out of the way of the sewing machine and the camera so you guys can see. Let me turn this down. Turn this way. And I'm going to get my design board right here. The easiest way for me to figure out how to do these, and if you're just joining us, we've been at this now for, this is week number 8. So I'm going to take the white on white background fabric and I'm going to put it up in the corner and make sure the right sides are up. And there is a diagonal of these blocks that go like this. And that gives me a real good layout to start with, like that. There's my good layout to start with of the blocks. And then everything else is going to be a half square triangle. And so I'm going to take my half square, the background fabric, and put it right there. And then these, I just kind of need to look. I'm going to look at that picture. I'm really, really bad at laying designs out. And so I'm going to look at the picture that Shirley had done. I asked her if it was okay if I copied, and she said yes. So I'm going to look at her picture and make mine kind of the same and see what we get going here. So there are 4 of these blocks, and I want to make sure I get the right one. Okay, this one's good. So this looks like I have the aqua down here, and this, I'm just paralyzed when it comes to figuring out what colors to put where. So she did all the heavy lifting for me, so I'm going to do this. Let's see, this one will go up here. And so now I'm just going to follow, and it's this one down here on the bottom, or I guess it's actually number, I guess it's this one. I need to put these in the right, turn the page the right way, and then I'll know I'm doing it correctly. And then this little light green. Yeah, I get all kinds of frozen when it comes to figuring out what to put where. That's real hard for me to do. And the red goes right here. And this aqua goes down in this corner. This one is directional right there. Okay. So I need to pay attention to that. And that is going to go. So I will make sure to stitch this one on it, the horizontal. All right. And this one goes here. And this red right there. And the orange right next to it. Things are kind of falling into place here. Okay. I have the yellow right there. And then I've got 2 others and then a green right here. So this is how she's got it laid out here. And doesn't that look good? I cannot do that. I will struggle with that the whole time. So I'm going to check what's going on here. I don't want to miss anything. So, okay. So everything looks good now. I've got my background fabrics ready to go. And the idea in here is to make like 4 and 4 and 4 and 4. And when I tried to do that, I had a hard time getting my rows together. So I'm just going to sew them all the way across and do 4 rows. And that's how I'm going to make that work. Now, I am going to go ahead and draw a line on the back of all of my background fabrics. So I'm going to put the ruler corner to corner. we get right into this and not do a lot of chit chat here because we've got work to do, right? I want this to get done. So I'm going to draw a line and make a mark like that. And that mark tells me that is the shorter side of the two triangles that I have now. And I am going to use that side to be cut off. So I'm going to just do that here. I should have done it ahead of time to be prepared for y'all. If you have diagonal seam tape on the bed of your machine, you can also use that if you're good. So how many of you are actually doing this with me, or some of you just, am I on the wrong side? Yes, Stacy. Yes, I am marking on the wrong side of the fabric. Yep. And this particular white on white does not show up well with the black light flashlight. Some white on whites do. This one did not. So I'm just going to do this on all of the back of the fabrics. So what I'm doing here, I'm putting the ruler corner to corner on the diagonal on this background fabric. Okay. And this, if the ruler's corner to corner, then the line is not. The line is right next to corner, but it's hard to see. And so what I'm doing is I've got one of these triangles now on either side of this line is smaller than the other. You want to cut the smaller one off, and that's the one that's hanging out from underneath the ruler. So that's, you put a little mark on it, because when you do a whole bunch of these at one time, it's really easy to get them turned around in your stack, and then you don't know which side is the smaller one, and you have a 50-50 chance of getting it right or wrong. Usually in my world, it's wrong. So putting that little mark on there makes all the difference in the world. And essentially what you're doing is you are creating space right here next, when you sew on the line, you're creating space that allows the fabric to be able to fold over and meet and match. And that space in the garment sewing world is called turn of cloth. And you will use this technique over and over and over in your quilting journey for flying geese, square and a square, half square triangles, etc. Any of those where you've got to sew and flip. And your squares will come out so much better. You're using different fabric lines? Good. Yep. You had a busy, Peggy's not prepared. That's okay. That's okay. There's always replay. And, you know, this is the second time that I've done this particular block in the sew along, because we're doing 5 blocks 4 times. So all 5 blocks will have 4 videos. And then we'll do the sashing and put it all together. We should be done sometime in May. I can't believe we're already on week 8. That's just nuts, right? It has gone by so fast. We're on week 8. Okay, so there we go. All right, I'm going to put these away. So now I'm just going to assembly line sew all of these squares on the line, okay? And the one that's diagonal or directional, I'm sorry, the directional fabric, I'm going to make sure that when I fold that half square triangle open, that it's right side up. And you do that by making sure that fabric is laying on its side, one way or the other. It doesn't matter. So I'm ready to go ahead. Let me flip this and get going. Now, I need to make sure I'm going to look at the picture, okay? Because if you look at this, that's dark. If you look at this, they're not all going the same way, okay? So it's important for you to look and make sure. So like on this one, where am I at? It doesn't matter. They're all the same. Okay. So on my top row, all of these, this is the side that's going to be cut off up here on the top because the color is all down at the bottom. Okay. So if that's the side that's going to be cut off, I'm going to make sure as I sew it, the side with the mark is up in the top. Can you see the mark on there? Right there. All right. So it doesn't, you just, I mean, I guess if you've got directional fabric, it'll really matter, but just make sure that you get them turned right. I'm stitching at a 2.0 stitch length. So you can just sew these. Doesn't matter really. It does matter once you get them. Let me turn this on. There we go. Turn my iron on. It matters in the layout. And if you have directional fabric, it matters. For sure. I guess we can cut off those flowers. Sometimes you have a print you want a little bit more of. I'm putting these together, making sure that I don't have white fabric hanging over the red and I don't have red fabric hanging over the white, so that they look good from both sides. Okay. You don't want anything hanging out there. In the future, would I consider doing a quilting cruise? Jackie, I am doing quilting cruises. Well, I'm doing sew and sail. I've got 2 of those set up for this year already. But yeah, quilting cruise like this, teaching technique, absolutely. Be happy to do that. Yep. I love to piece, and I like to know why blocks fail. And once I know why a block fails, I can come up with a method so that it doesn't again. That way it doesn't fail again, right? That's the point. Now, I want to mention too, I don't know if you can see it. Let me get back to this camera here. I accidentally cut where I still had some selvage. Can you see the little holes? Yes, I'm on a 2.0 stitch length. Okay. So there's little holes on the selvage. I made sure that that's the piece that's going to be cut off. That's handy. Okay. Yep. Hit the like button, you guys. Give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Subscribe. We'll hang out more often and do quilting together. It's fun. I'm here every Monday at 9 for this particular quilt. All right. So here we are with my directional fabric. Okay. So it's going up and down here. So the way I'm going to do this, lay it sideways on my table and then put my fabric on top of it. But what I can do is fold my fabric back and take a look and peek. And so when I sit it up, it's going to be in the upper corner. And is that, let's see, this is the 3rd row. I don't have this block exactly right. I got lost on which block I was doing. I got lost. See, this matters. I don't want to cut the wrong way. On this directional fabric, I don't want to cut it the wrong direction. So I'm trying to figure out which block I was looking at. See, I got myself all confused. There it is. So this block has the color in the bottom. All right. So I need to turn this way. And if I fold it up, now it's correct. Okay. So directional fabric matters. If it's non-directional, it doesn't matter. You can turn it any way you want. But yeah, I can't, I went through this same block. I took it apart a couple of times last time because I couldn't get my points to match. And then I went ahead and did a couple of more Happy Dance blocks in my other fabric to be able to get that correct. So everything looks good in the chat there, you guys. So I went and looked on we've had 10 people sign up for the RV Sew Together already. We're going to be sewing together in El Campo, Texas, the 17th through the 21st of September, 2025. And I'm 2 squares short. They probably got mixed in with some others on in the case there. Let me get them out. I have a link if you want to sign up. It's at the Lost Lagoon RV Resort. Beautiful place in El Campo, Texas. So, Frida just decided she's just going to sleep right here by my feet. Here they are. My other 2. Yep. Okay. You just made your reservations at El Campo, and I have the wrong spots marked off on my mat. That's the map from last year, Carolyn. Okay. Thanks for telling me that. I thought they were going to put this, we're in the same spot as before. I'll have to have Bonnie look into that. Because those are the ones we had last year, and that's what we like because there is, I'm intimidating. Karen. No, I'm not. I'm a quilter. Bonnie had an appointment or something this morning. She had to step out of the situation room. So I'll text her when I get done here and see. Instead of one or both of us calling the RV park, it's easier with just one. Okay. All right. See, even I make mistakes. I was short 2 blocks. I mean, they were cut. They just didn't get picked up out of the container there. Now, this is called assembly line sewing, where you just sew. I want to leave these flowers. When you're doing half square triangles, you can also kind of pick and choose what you want to leave. So if this is going to be cut off up here, if I fold that up, that leaves those pretty flowers. If I cut off the other side, I don't have as much floral print. So you get to pick and choose which one you want, depending on how you turn your fabric, right? That's kind of fun. All right. No, I don't want to. I don't think I want to cut these apart. I think I'm going to do them. Look out, Frito. I don't want to run over your feet. Look out, Frito. She's gone. Whoop. Out you go. Careful cords, sister. There we are. I want these to fold. How do I want these to fold? Let's see. I'm going to get rid of the part with the mark. So I'm going to take that part and I'm going to fold it up to meet the point on the other side and finger crease that. And make sure that my points in the corners are not wonky. Okay. Let me see if I've got a good one I can show y'all what I'm talking about. Okay. So see how that point right there, okay, I'm going to take this other white point. I'm going to pull it up, and I want it to meet exactly. I don't want it hanging over wonky, but I don't want it short. And I'm going to finger crease it. Now mine's off a little bit here. I need to fix this. Let me make sure. Yeah, I got it wrong. I'm going to zoom in here and show you what I did wrong because I'm going to restitch this one. When you see what you've done wrong, you can know right away when you've done it wrong, and then you can fix that. All right, so let me zoom in. So my stitch line is off from the drawn line. My stitch line is off from the drawn line. You see that? The drawn line is right, but what happens is when I go to pull this up now and fold it and get it all the way up here like it's supposed to be, let me get this correct, okay? Look at my corners. See how that is? Hold on. I'll just finger crease this and show you why it's wrong. That's wrong. See that? That's a wonky corner. That's no good. You're going to get a bad 1/4 inch there. Okay. Your husband, Ginger. That's funny. And when I go to pull it up, it's a little off. See that? It's not correct. That's a bad corner, and that happens. So when you see this, don't stick your head in the sand and think everything's going to be fine, because it's not. You're going to get a bad 1/4 inch seam, and you're going to be mad. So I need to unpick this and get it right. Hold on a minute here. Or you could fold it the right way, and then it works. I was folding the small piece over. You got to fold the big piece over the small. Y'all, I have a cold. I'm not feeling well. I'm telling you. I'm not intimidating. I'm a mess. Let me fold this over. Fold the big piece over to the, instead of the small. This is what you want right here. You want your points to match up there perfectly, just like that. Okay. And look at your corners. See the corners? And they match, and you've got a nice, pretty corner right there. Okay. If you fold it the other way, this is the lesson. If you fold small, which has the mark on it, see, there's the mark. If you fold small over to large, it's not going to fit, and you're going to get that wonky corner. You want to fold large over to small so that it fits, and you'll get the perfect corner. That's what I was doing wrong. Okay. I'm frenemies with mine, with my seam ripper here. There, see, my corners are perfect. That's great. Well, focus, focus, focus. Isn't that pretty? That works just like that. So fold corner without the mark up over the corner with the mark. Okay. And that's correct. I got myself turned around there for a second. Happens to everybody. Okay, that looks really good. So I'm just going to go through here now and do all of these. Okay. And fold. Pull this up till it meets, hold it tight, and hold it over the seam line. I'm sorry, the seam roll. Tomorrow I will be on Takeover Tuesday for Sewing Machines Plus, and I'm going to be doing some ruler work on the King Quilter 2 Elite. So check out Sewing Machines Plus's channel at noon Central, 10 on the West Coast, and 1 on the East Coast. But I've got a cute little panel I'm going to be doing for Betty Boop's grandkids. And Quilting with Harriet chatted with me earlier today. And so we're going to see how to do it using a ruler and a ruler base, kind of a stitch in the ditch type thing on a big panel. And then also how to use the mark tool in Pro Stitcher. So that's cool. She's so smart with that. I'm so blessed to have her in my life to teach me things. If you're a long armor and you have not checked out Quilting with Harriet's channel, you need to do that. She's a brand new YouTuber. Doesn't have a lot of videos out there, but what she has, her content's really solid. So she can teach you about Pro Stitcher if that is the automation that you're using. And she does a lot of cool things that, you know, for general overall quilting as well. Like on the last video she did, she showed how she buries her tails after a thread break using dental floss. That was kind of cool. So, oh, you're welcome for how to use Keith's seam ripper. How to use them all, yeah. That makes all the difference in the world. When you have to undo a seam, it's great when you can undo it faster than you sewed it, literally. You just kind of have to watch those intersections. I go slow when I get near an intersection. 3 more, and then we'll be done. Oh, I picked up this cold. I was at Road to California last week. And I was in Vegas on the way home. And there was a girl sitting like 2 seats over from me in the Southwest. We were on our way to San Antonio, the next leg of the flight. She was sneezing her head off. And I was like, thanks. I knew I was going to get sick right then. I had been healthy the whole trip. But, oh well. It's just a cold. But, you know, that's one of those things where I want to make sure I can still smell because I don't want COVID. All right. Okay, good. Now I'm ready to trim these, and you can trim them on a table. I've done it before where I just kind of take my rotary cutter and just go all the way down, but I'm just going to use my scissors here. If you are so inclined, you can certainly stitch a 1/2 inch over right here into the part you're going to cut off and create yourself another set of half square triangles. I'm not so inclined, okay? I don't have the bandwidth to manage that, so I'm not going to do it. I guess I didn't need to go through what was going to go where because I ended up picking them all up, didn't I? Talk about wasting time. So I'm just trimming off. I'm just trimming off underneath the white where I folded over those 2 pieces on the bottom. And if you don't cut these, if you forget and you find one in your quilt, it's not the end of the world, but really try to cut those, okay? Because it's really going to reduce bulk. I've seen people leave those in a quilt. I don't recommend that. I mean, it's up to you, but I don't recommend it. There's that selvage. I'm going to cut that. And I'm cutting it approximately a 1/4 inch seam. It doesn't have to be exact, okay? Is the Oliso iron better than the Clover? I think so, Sharon. I've had that Clover get too hot. I love the Oliso because it has a 30-minute timer, which I think is amazing, which is also longer than that Cricut I was using. The Cricut is still here. It's over by another machine. But with this one having a 30-minute timer. So this Aliso has this is the M3 Pro. I don't put any water in it. Isn't it pretty? I love it. So if you lay it down, it has a 10-minute timer. If you set it up on its little butt, it has a 30-minute timer. I can do 30 minutes. That's more my speed. I don't like irons to shut off. And as soon as you jiggle it at all, it'll come right back on. So it'll stay on all day while I'm sitting here using it sporadically. And I like that. So new channel sounds interesting. You're getting up the courage to start your own, Brenda. All right. We're here to support you. Yeah. I had to go to be a live streamer, mostly because of the physical demands of editing. It's a lot. I couldn't do it anymore. My fingers in my right hand started to go numb from all of the editing. And it's bad on my back to sit in one spot for so long too. Yeah. All right. So now I'm going to play the game again of where these go. Okay. Didn't need my seam ripper after all. Hooray. Okay. Oh, I got the one more. Hold on. See, this is the one I ironed incorrectly. Hold on. I ironed short to long instead of long to short. There. And I had wonky corners. I knew I had sewed it right. I was like, why isn't that working? Why isn't that working? Okay. Okay, here we go. So here is the block. All right, now I am looking at this square and I'm making sure which direction these need to go. So this points corner, colored corner down. All right, and then this one is going to be here. And I'm just going to go through and play this game again. And this one points up right there. My red up right here. The yellow up right there. This is correct. See that? That's my directional fabric and it's correct. And it points down, so that's looking correct right there. I don't have sideways flowers. Again, not the end of the world if you do that, but let's see, this one points up. This orange points down. I'm just talking through my process, y'all. This is how I roll. This is how it goes. Let's see, this red here goes down. This green goes down. This aqua is here in the corner. Oops, I didn't cut that one. One got by me. Two got by me. Okay, and this one goes up, like this. And this coral floral goes, where does it go? Right here, and it goes down like that. Okay, so this is the way everything goes. This is the way it's going to get put together. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is I'm going to sew. I like to sew in columns, so I'm going to sew these two, these two, these two, these two, here, 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 and here, and then I'm going to sew these rows together like that. That worked better for me than doing them in the 4 corner blocks like they showed in the book. Okay. Let's see here. All right. So these do not have nesting that has to happen, which is very nice. So again, I'm making sure my edges are exactly even. Okay. I can't see one over the other. And I'm making sure that I'm sewing the color part of the half square triangle correctly. And now it's going to be pretty quick to get all these together. And you may want to pin the bottom edges, which is what I'm going to do, because your feed dogs will want to ease in the bottom edge for you. I've got a seam that folded up there. I'll keep that from happening. Okay. So my method here is to take the second and fold it over onto the first. Okay. Yes, I put a pin in my mouth. No, I don't want to hear it. My mother, I was raised with my mother having pins in her mouth. You're not supposed to swallow them. Safety nannies. I know people, it drives people crazy. I'm a nurse and I've seen that come in. People swallowed pins. Y'all, I know. I live on the edge. Whoa. Hit a pin is what I did. I have the older Elisa without an iron, without the timer on it too. It is nice. I've got that down at the coast. I like that. Yeah, that's the whole reason to have that thing. This is the newer one that they came out with the Tula series. Okay, so there's the first rows. And I'm just going to lay these out. What happened? I got a boo-boo. Look at that. That's weird. That got tucked up underneath. That's weird. How did that happen? There. When you have something like that, don't unpick the whole thing. Just do the part that needs fixed. Start in the middle of the block. No need to unpick the whole thing. There we go. Okay. So this is going to sit here. I'm just taking these apart and putting them in the order where they go. Here. And here. Okay. And here. Very good. All right. That's why we have nurses, Charlene. So it keeps them in business. All righty. So now the next column. It's actually blocks 3 and 4 of each row. Yeah, man. My mother, I mean, she made all my clothes when I was a kid till I got too old for that. And she made all her own clothes. So she always had pins in her mouth. I just remember that. That's funny. Don't tell anyone you did it. Y'all's secret's safe here, believe me. I'm pretty adamant about rotary cutter safety. Pin safety, on the other hand, I got a job to do, and sometimes I need a third hand, right? Anytime you're doing something over about 2 inches, I really recommend that you pin those edges to the bottom edge together, because they will want to dance around and get pulled up. And that's just not, that doesn't do the whole plan any good at all. I mean, it'll pull up a good 1/8 of an inch. You'll be all upset. Again, with these blocks, that are on a bias, I don't recommend using the cutter on the side of the machine because you will torque your block. You see me using snips for all of these. Which way does this go? This one goes here like this. Okay. And like that. All right. So now, yep. All I have to do now, got these. I'm going to sew these down the middle, these 4 down the middle. This is coming along pretty, isn't it? And then we'll sew those rows together. But before I do that, then I will press all of the rows at one time. So again, I'm going to take, because it matters, I'm going to take this one here, right over to left, and I'm going to sew these seams together here on all of these. This has just been easier for me to get the block correct using this method. Okay. Get done here. Got to run to the grocery store. Make my Monday grocery run. I was going to do a curbside and order it, but I didn't. So, which is fine. I need the steps. Okay. All right. And last one here. I think I'm going to turn you guys around and go over to the other ironing board where I've got a larger thing. I don't know. I think it'll be easier. Okay. Very nice. There's one. I just found this method so much easier than the way they said to make it in the book. After you've been quilting for a while, you can do that. You can go, okay, I see what they want me to do. Like when they want you to make half square triangles or something, you can actually go ahead and make them a little bit bigger and then cut them down. Or like hourglass blocks, that kind of thing. All right. So now when I press my seams, even number rows, odd number rows, 1 and 3. This is just me. You can do it any way you want. I press those to the left. Even number rows, I press them to the right. It just is a habit for me to do that. So I'm going to take this one, and these are all going to press. My dog moved. So these are all going to press this way. And I'm using this seam roll from Gray Rooster. I have these below in the description box, and it says more ... Press that. And then this gives you the same flat seam as pressing them open, but you don't press open. Okay, that looks good. And then these are going to be pressed this way. You can do it the opposite way, but you just need to make sure each row you press a different direction so that they will nest. I have a really good video on how to nest. It seems like a basic, simple thing, but many people are visual learners, and I get in really close and explain why I'm doing what I'm doing and how. So I've got a link to that below as well. And that I've gotten so many comments about how helpful that video was. And I thought it was kind of basic, but that's okay. And this one gets pressed toward me. Usually you want to press to the dark meaning toward the dark fabric. But in this particular block, it doesn't matter. Because they go half is dark and the other half isn't, and then one half is and then it isn't, and you would drive yourself crazy. Okay, there's row 3. Very nice. And these press away from me, row 4 to my right. And when you're doing the clapper, you don't have to hold it for 10 or 15 seconds, just a few seconds. There's some kind of magic that happens between the natural fiber of the wool in the seam roll, the heat, and the natural fiber of the wood and the natural fiber of the cotton. It makes them really flat in just a few seconds. All right. Now this is all ready. Whoop. There we go. Got to pay attention. Don't want to sew that wrong. And now we're down to our last 4 seams. I'm going to take the top and fold it over. Okay. Now I start pinning from the center out is how I do it. And I'm going to match. I'm looking down in here and I'm going to match the little points. Okay, and nest the seams, get the points right where I want them and nest the seams. So let's see. And on this one, we don't have any points, so that's handy. When I pin at a 45-degree angle, bottom to top, in one side of the seam allowance and out the other. And that allows me to make a couple of stitches over the seam. Okay. Bottom to top at a 45 in one side of the seam allowance and out the other. I've got a point. I've got points right here I need to match. Let's see. There we go. One thing I do too that's handy, I forgot to do it on this one. I'm going to take my pin. Let me show you here. I'm going to take my pin. I forgot to do it. And I'm going to go right in on that point right there. Okay. Push through. And then I want to mark where that's coming out, where that pin is coming out right there. And I'm going to do that. I don't have a point over here, but I do on this one. Put it in at the point. You want to hit that mark when you sew. It may or may not be on the where those seams cross. It may or may not. So then match the points, but those edges, those seams up together for a nest, and then pin. And now I can see the blue mark where I need to stitch is right there. Okay. That's very handy to do that. There. And then this last seam down here, I don't have any points. I don't have any points on this one. Okay. So now let's see if all that works. It should. I'm aiming for that blue mark. Hit it. Okay. I'm going to aim for the blue mark on the next one. Hit that. It allows me to go a couple of stitches over. And the last pin made sure that it didn't ease in the fabric at all. Okay. There's that nest. That's what I'm looking for. Just like that. Yeah, let me go on this camera here. Okay. So here's the nest. Okay. That's what happens when you pin at the 45. Nice and pretty like that. There's where I aimed for that point and hit it. That's what I'm after. Right there. And this one, it looks like I tipped it a little bit. See that red? It looks like I tipped it just a little bit. The other two are correct, but I tipped that red one. So how I'm going to fix that is I'm going to start in the middle of the green right here. Okay. And I'm going to come back a little bit, about a stitch width, and cross over each end of that thread. And then I'm going to pick this out open, this outer stitch line. So it has a stitch line in it already. I'm going to pick that one. So I'm not unpicking anything, you know, from the beginning, and I'm not stitching it the whole thing again. You don't have to. Let me get this. There we go. Yeah, that's pretty. Okay. There we go. That got it. Okay. We're good. Okay. So I'm going to leave this right here like this. And now let me do these two. And put my pin through here. And my pin through here. And I don't have one on this one. Mark where those pins are coming out. Okay. And now match up those points. Yeah, this is much better than the first time I did this the last time we did this block together. Because I made them all wrong. All wrong. Put these points together and butt those seams up. And I'm at a 45. Am I stitching right on the point or one stitch over? So I'm stitching on that blue mark. Ideally, you stitch on the point, but depending on how your fabric folded in the pressing can change that. So I'm stitching on the blue mark. Okay. Together. All right, I'm aiming for the blue. Hold on. Aiming for the blue mark. If you are short on the point, then you can just stitch it a little bit deeper and do that. Okay. Okay. So there's that one. That'll work. There's that one. And that will work. Okay. Yes. Sewing it by rows works much better. And there's my perfect nest. Okay. Good. Awesome. Now I'm ready to just sew. Let me back this out. Now I'm ready to sew top to bottom, just like that. And I have a point here. I need to pin this, push it through and mark it. The way the seam folded over the point, I can't see it. So I'd be sewing blind. So that's another reason to mark your points. I'll show you, because the seam allowance, see, if it was folded open like this, then you could see where the seams cross. But when that's folded over, you can't see it. And that happens. That's no big deal. Just mark it. Don't sew blind. There's no reason for that. You know, cross your fingers and hope it works. That's a bad method. That is not a good method at all. Okay. And then I believe the middle one doesn't have any, right? Okay. So middle first, butt those up together, pin at a 45. Okay. And now I'm going to match my points exactly and butt that. Nest those nice and tightly. Why do I feel like that's not nested? You can kind of feel it after a while. Your fingers, they'll tell you. I really, especially on this block, y'all, don't press your seams open. You drive yourself crazy. You will drive yourself absolutely bats, and you'll be disgusted with it, and you won't come back. You'll be like, no, I'm not making that block anymore. That's not healthy. All right, in one side of the seam allowance and out the other. There we go. And here's our last seam. Last seams are always so exciting. Yay! Hopefully it's our last seam. I don't want to take it apart. Aiming for the blue mark. Okay. And the only reason I would take it apart is if a nest had a big gap in it. That's the only reason. Otherwise, I'd try to do a few stitches and fix it. Aim for the blue. And to the end. All right, let's see how we did. So let's see here. All right. So on this one, there's that meeting up. Nobody's tipped. Everybody's happy. There's that one. That looks great. And there's that one. And that looks great. Ta-da! Yay! That's awesome. Very cool. So, here's the happy dance block. Look at that. You wish your points turn out like mine. Bernadette, I'm walking you through the steps. I'm walking you through the pressing, making sure that your points are, you know, especially on your first initial iron, make sure those points are right on, okay? I'm going to turn you guys around and we're going to press this on the big ironing surface because I've got big, long seams right now. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah. You can certainly do this. And by the fourth one, you guys will be done. We're taking a spin, y'all. Here we go at my nicely scorched ironing station here. Okay. And I'm just going to press these the way they want to naturally lay. And finger press them out. Give them an idea of where I want them to go. No steam. Okay. I'm using the sizing in the fabric to start with. All right. That looks good. Such a pretty, pretty block. Getting these points, yeah, that's the key to quilting, I think, is working on these points. And it does take practice. I've been doing this a lot of years. This one wants to fold this way, which is fine. I can accommodate that. No big deal. Whatever it wants. There we go. Very nice. Okay. So here's our second happy dance block. How about that? I love it. Let's go back around. I still need to change out my hose on my iron. Woo! Okay. Let me move my big cart here with my laptop on it. Bring you guys up a little bit. And all right. There's the second one for that fabric line. Perfect. How pretty is that? Maybe I need some more light over here. It feels a little dark, doesn't it? It feels very dark. Awesome. That looks a lot better. Okay, you guys. Well, this has been a lot of fun. Join me back here next Monday, 9 a.m. Central, and we are going to be doing which one? It's on the calendar, and it's on the schedule. Next in line is the kaleidoscope block next week. So this has been great. I hope you are keeping up, and we are 8 weeks in already. We're coming in on the halfway point. So this is a lot of fun. I will talk to you guys soon. I'll see you in the morning in the Situation Room, 7 a.m. Central. You guys go sew something. Bye.